Wow, look at that one. Where were you the night that Tyrese Maxey saved the season to force a Game 6 in Philadelphia on Thursday night as they stun and steal one, snatching it from the New York Knicks? Tyrese Maxey coming up huge with 46 and a playoff game that becomes an all-timer for Tyrese Maxey. Rich Hofmann, Devon Givens, welcome to the PHLY Sixers post-game podcast. They damn sure answered the bell. They all did, but man, we got to give the credit to Tyrese Maxey for the job that he did, hitting the three-pointer with just under about 7 seconds to go. Thought it was kind of early, but it's 7 seconds on a deep three-pointer, right still on the logo to tie it up at 97. Breeze going crazy in here. Rich is going nuts. I'm complaining about the damn free throws that he missed. Little did we know, he was still going to put together enough in the overtime session to score 5 more points, hit another big three to help this team win and give us an instant classic and have one for him that even for the next, 48 hours that we're able to talk about this game and maybe even further. We'll talk about that tomorrow and certainly on Thursday as things go. But this is always going to be looked at.
You're not talking about the offseason tomorrow.
Not doing that.
Not yet.
But we will always look back and talk about this one as the Tyrese Maxey game that he unfurled. Rich, you had a great reaction. Again, I'm sitting there complaining about the missed free throws that he had and Embiid missing free throws. And I didn't know that they had this in him, folks. I really did not. We were complaining about Maxey. He had 29 at one point, and I'm sitting there going nuts. But what does he do? He drops 17 in the fourth quarter, 5 in the overtime session, and goes crazy in that final few minutes of the fourth quarter, and then what he does in the overtime session. Rich, I mean, your thoughts, man. We were here watching it live during our watch-along, but that was tremendous work by him.
Devon,
Gotham City for him, man. Superhero.
That's an all-timer. And, I go back to something we talked about before tonight's show and during the live watch-along is that for a lot of this series, we have been picking apart the Sixers' deficiencies in this series because they lose all of the close games. We've been focusing on, their offense stunk down the stretch and, the rebounding battle and all those things. And while this has happened, a lot of the neutral basketball, smart basketball people I follow have watched this Sixers-Knicks series and said, this is great. This is the people who don't care about the outcome are saying, this is wonderful. I mean, these are tough, close games. Every single game is close. You're getting big scoring performances. And yet, here we are after every game prior to tonight saying, well, the Sixers should have done this and that. And after game 2, when the Knicks completely stole that game at the end, refs kind of stole it too, a little bit, little help from them. But the Knicks completely stole that game, a game that the Sixers had won. Tyrese Maxey does the trick to them, and not only that, he does it with the Sixers' backs against the wall. No room for error. Devon, if he does not make that shot, they are going home. They could have gotten the rebound and kicked out for 3, but they're probably going home. They're very likely going home. Devon, a 34-footer from the logo. That was an all-time playoff moment. I actually just looked up. Wow. I typed up win probability on Twitter because you know those charts where when there's a crazy comeback at the end of the game, one team has all the chance to win. Knicks were a 96% chance to win. Up 7. I'm actually surprised it's that low. Tyrese Maxey just completely stealing that game, saving the season. And Devon, also, as good as the logo shot was, to make the 4-point play, by the way, thank you, Mitchell Robinson. That was way too hard of a contest on that shot. But to take the legitimate hit, Mitchell Robinson is a big boy, Devon. And for Tyrese Maxey to take that hit and still make the shot, you know what that reminded me of? I wasn't alive for this, but I've watched a 30 for 30. That reminded me of Reggie Miller, game 1 at Madison Square Garden. I think it was 1995. 7 points in, 8 seconds? Was that what it was?
Yeah, and he had 7 here in 17 seconds.
Unbelievable. And, it's so funny, too, because you have all of the Knicks fans going crazy, right? They were feeling it. The Sixers looked dead in the water. All of their celebrity fans. John McEnroe has a personalized jersey. All the finance bros wearing their dress shirts underneath their jerseys. The shot Tyrese Maxey makes, he walks by Jalen Brunson, who is stunned. Jon Stewart looks like he just saw a ghost. He always sits courtside at the games. That's unbelievable. It's an all-timer, and we got 2 more days for a lot of reasons. I think we can talk about all of the game, but just like game 2, we're focusing on the last minute of regulation because that is where the game swung. And Tyrese Maxey, who has gotten better and better, who has given Sixers fans so much, gives them just an all-time playoff moment. It's wonderful stuff.
It was crazy. And again, folks, one thing I think Rich will agree with me on. We know Tyrese Maxey a little bit of how he reacts to things. And also you do too, just from watching his press conference, seeing his mannerisms on the floor and all of that. As he unfurls this 34-footer that Rich is going nuts on. And I'm like, he should have made his damn free throws, right? Because the game would be over. I'm not wrong, but man, I didn't allow myself to just enjoy what that moment was there for him making that shot. Now, we can go back and I can watch the game and check it out, see it again. It's going to be all over the place. It's already on the Sixers social media, and for what he did, calling him for forcing that 97-97. But for the guy to do this after we criticize him for some bad turnovers there down the stretch, some poor decision-making there on some shot attempts, thinking he needed to go up stronger at the rim and not getting a call against Mitchell Robinson and one against Josh Hart where he didn't get the call in the bucket to go, for him to have the poise, to have the wherewithal to understand the situation, calm down, put it all together, and come out there and play like a seasoned veteran to save their bacon, save their asses to keep this season alive and give them hope and give them an opportunity. Hats off to that guy for what he did. We've all talked about how good he is. And the one thing I know about him as we've talked about all these things, Rich, he's going to go up there and say, I should have made those free throws.
Yeah.
So because that's him. That's what he does. But the way that he composed himself down the stretch. And last year, James Harden did the same thing in Boston, right? We got to give James Harden credit for what he did in Boston, hitting those big shots.
Game.
Yes, absolutely. Tyrese Maxey did it here. And as much as Harden was good, not enough, but good here with the Sixers and Joel Embiid with their partnership, with Maxey also there with him. We've also talked about how this is Joel Embiid's best 2-man partner that he has had in his career, from Simmons to Harden and now here. And with Embiid playing on one leg, not playing his best basketball.
No.
We'll get to him with some of the good plays that he made, but also the bad plays for which the game was where it was.
Good and bad.
But for Maxey to do what he did tonight, to unfurl this instant playoff classic, and this will go down in Sixers history for the guy to do this here tonight. What a performance from Tyrese Maxey, finishing with 46. How many assists did he have as I look it up here right now? 46 with 9 assists, 5 boards. He was 7 for 12, folks, from 3. 7 for 30. And the one thing that we said, we need to see 25-plus shot attempts from Tyrese Maxey. And with your partner, your 2-man game here, unable to do anything, even though he got 19 shots off, Tyrese Maxey was the one that had to get those shots off. We wanted Tobias Harris to get 16 shots. We'll get to him because he was also really good tonight.
He was very good tonight.
Maxey played 51-54 tonight.
It's crazy.
The guy was fantastic. And the reason why they are playing outside of Tobias Harris on Thursday night is the work that Tyrese Maxey gave them.
And look, you get down 5 in overtime, and so what do the Sixers go to? They go to, frankly, what was some of their best offense. They went to a lot of post-ups with Joel, but they got Joel the ball at the free throw line and ran kind of off-ball cutting. They lose Tyrese Maxey, and he is the guy. When you're down 5, you get Brunson with a great response to start the overtime period. Who's the guy that brings you back? Tyrese Maxey makes the 3. You're down 2, and then you're right back in the game. So, like, he just the kid does not stop, and it's unbelievable. And I mean, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat about where are the Knicks fans at? Man, think about all of the videos we'd be watching, people at Madison Square Garden, they celebrate outside of Penn Station out there.
Yeah.
You know, all those fans, burning Embiid jerseys and all that stuff. I want video of those people looking sad walking out of that place tonight. And it was just because of one guy. I mean, it was more than one guy, but Tyrese Maxey. I can't believe it, guys. I really can't believe it. We got a game 6 in Philly. I have no idea how Joel Embiid's going to make it up and down the floor for that game, but I love that we have the opportunity for it. It's crazy. And frankly, let's talk about overtime too. Joel Embiid struggled a lot of the game. One of the biggest shots, though, the 3-point play.
Top of the key.
To finish that shot, and it's like I've been saying, Brunson and Embiid are probably the two best players in the league at seeking that contact and still somehow making 15-foot jumpers. Probably because they do it more than anybody.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't the best shot after contact tonight. That goes to Tyrese Maxey. 4-point play on Mitchell Robinson. Huge shot there. Frankly, Joel Embiid getting that flagrant foul, it's a little tough. By the letter of the law, regular season, I don't know. In a playoff game at the end, Jalen Brunson gets... Knicks fans are going to talk about the flagrant foul in Game 3. That should have been a flagrant 2. Okay, I don't think that was a flagrant. I think they got the positive end of the call there. Maxey got fouled. He got hooked in overtime. Just a great win, man. They gutted it out, right? And at some point in the playoffs, guys, it comes down to just, can you make the plays down the stretch, right? We're Knicks fans happy with Jalen Brunson after Game 2. He was really struggling in those 2 games. But when you gut out the game and find a way to win, even though the other team is making you look bad for 10-minute stretches, making you look bad in the overtime period, stealing the ball from Joel Embiid and getting pick sixes, doesn't matter. If you just keep fighting and gutting it out, I think, we talked about how Tyrese Maxey's got a long way to go. I think he's even going to grow as a playoff performer, kind of learning how to pick his spots. He's going to go a longer way as a passer, finding players, because I do think Joel Embiid getting doubled, there are a lot of assist opportunities for him. But that kid, we know from the start of his career, is fearless. I think back to the game in Atlanta, Game 6, 2021 playoffs. Ben Simmons is in the process of melting down. They put him on the bench at the end of that game. Tyrese Maxey has not played for most of the season, and as much as people want to rag on Doc Rivers, he wasn't as good back then, right? He was still shooting floaters. He was inefficient. They put him in the game, and just because he's got the cojones to play, and he doesn't care about how big the moment is, that's going to serve him really well for a long time. And we saw, look, guys, if they win this series, that's an all-timer. All-timer.
I mean, you think about the playoffs, at least for the modern playoffs. When we think about, can you think about something even bigger than that? The Raptors shot from Joel Embiid to win Game 3 in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that you always remember. Is there any other one? Marco Bellinelli, but that wasn't a 3, it was a 2, and you still lose the game, right? They lost that one
because of confetti.
Yeah, the confetti game. So can you think of one? This would jump to the top for a lot of people.
I think this is all time in the NBA. We don't have to look at the Sixers.
Yeah, well, I wasn't
a
even going to them.
34-footer to save your season.
He leaned in on that one too. Wow, man. All right, Look, folks, we're going to be here a while. We'll check in with the guys live from New York. Bree is producing, and all of you in here, we thank you for hanging with us pregame and during our watch along. But we have this postgame here and a lot to get into. 7 points in 17 seconds. I got to give Nick Batum credit for his defense down the stretch. Brunson is going to make shots even in overtime. He hit the 3-pointer. He got that one against Joel Embiid going and had the great angle because he knew he could get him off of that screen, and he wasn't going to be able to catch him and block it. Second time, twice in a row, Joel Embiid defended him well where he blocked 2 of them. 2 of them down the stretch, and Nick Batum again played really good defense on Jalen Brunson down the stretch to force them in some really, really tough looks. And the Sixers gathered the basketball when it was loose and did not let the Knicks pick it up. No offensive rebounds, no second chance opportunities. They shut that stuff down, and that's why you're playing a Game 6 on Thursday.
Yeah. And let's talk about this now, because again, they don't win. We're talking about a loss if Tyrese doesn't hit those shots. We can understand that.
Yeah.
But because we probably haven't focused on the good elements when they lose these coin flip games, let's focus on the good element when that happens. And we talked about it, Devon. We talked about toughness, rebounding. We know the Knicks have an athleticism advantage. But here's the thing, guys. I saw a lot of people over the last 2 days saying, oh, well, they have the athleticism advantage. You just are going to give up some rebounds to them. I can't buy that. And
because it's effort, man.
It's
effort.
If you lock into a scouting report and box out these guys, like, you can limit them on the boards. And let's give a lot of credit to a guy who had a very up and down game. I think we could probably talk for 2 hours about the positives and the minuses of Joel Embiid's game tonight. 16 rebounds for Joel Embiid, leading the Sixers, who win the rebounding battle.
Don't say the Sixers. Leading the game. Leading the game.
Oh,
in
yeah.
rebounds.
No, I'm saying the Sixers beat the Knicks in the rebounding battle.
Yes, okay.
Which Tom
46 to 40.
Tom Thibodeau is throwing a chair in the locker room because that is the case. Mitchell Robinson plays this game, not Precious Achiuwa. And Joel Embiid and the Sixers get more possessions than them, win a game dirty when they're not shooting the ball well from three. That is really impressive. That's grit. Joel Embiid on one knee, getting that last board too, Devon, right? When Brunson misses the shot, was Batum defending him on that play? Mm-hmm. Ball is loose in the middle of the lane. Joel Embiid, his knee is all jacked up. He's got one half of a face. He's played a billion minutes. They sat him for like a minute in the fourth quarter. Who's diving on the ball floor for the ball? Who's calling the timeout? Unlike Tyrese Maxey in game two.
Yeah.
Give Joel credit for that. I thought he played
gutsy.
Not the smartest game.
But
he played his butt off. And he played a million minutes. They still suck when he hits the bench, so he had to play the entire fourth quarter. Suffering from migraines. Yeah, also too, like the migraines too. I don't care if you show up at shoot around if you're diving on the floor at the end of the game. You know?
Wow, amazing.
Who cares? Who cares about shoot around?
You know what, man? Things are so cool right now. The weather's been fantastic, and things have been just, the sun is shining. You get a win. Tomorrow's going to be so much better, right, Rich? Tomorrow's going to be so much better. So you know what you need to do when you go outside and you see that sun and you're feeling good and you have your PHLY Maxey shirt on. He's on fire.
He's on fire.
That's appropriate, too, for the shot that he tied it up at 97. We'll get to that in just a little bit later. But you know what you need? You need to go to see our friends at Shady Rays. You need some cool sunglasses on for this day that you have now with the victory under your belt. It's a 3-2 series. They have a game 6 on Thursday, and Tyrese Maxey makes you feel so much better. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. You put on your PHLY gear. You put on the shades to go with it. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, like simply celebrating your basketball team getting a really good win on the road in the postseason. This is what you want. We want them playing in May. They're playing in May. As the calendar flips to May, the month flips tomorrow. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find some perfect pair for you to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's color. And, when you're wearing the Shady Rays, again, having on that cool gear, you're representing your basketball team, you put the shades on. Me personally, I like the blackout all black regular shades. Some like the aviator style. You can go there, check them out as well. Whatever frame you like, they have them for you. Plus, if your shades are ever missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off. Polarized glasses, try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 100,000 people. I need some of those shades. Last time when they gave the shades to everybody, I missed out. I need the shades. You got to get some shades too, man.
Yeah, I got to get some shades.
You got to get some shades.
Summer's coming.
Oh, summer. Yeah, absolutely. And if you watched us during our watch along, you got to make sure we got to represent, because this one was big for us. Our good people from Olipop. Olipop took care of us. Olipop is the
Tyrese
world's
Maxey and Olipop. MVPs.
first functional soda. And look, just because I have the mug here doesn't mean I have poured my ginger ale in the mug. But Rich has the Olipop there. Looks great. It's all on our table. And you see it there on the bottom of your screen. Olipop, the world's first functional soda with a classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support gut health. Olipop is a new kind of soda with only 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber per can. It's available online and available in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including the most recent launch at all Wawa stores. That's everybody's spot. They got you covered with the classic root beer and strawberry vanilla. It's right there for you. Go out there and get it. It's really good. Again, I had the ginger ale, so did Rich and I. This is the seems like it's the one that works for the Sixers to win basketball games. So you got to get your Olipop.
Got to get it.
Got to go for ginger ale for us. Whatever has worked for you, go ahead and get it. And right now, when you look at it, Olipop is much lower in the sugar than conventional sodas. Like we mentioned, only 2 to 5 grams of sugar for natural sources. No added sugar. The Vintage Cola has just 2 grams of sugar as compared to regular Coca-Cola, which has 39 grams of sugar. Their Orange Squeeze has 5 grams of sugar compared to Orange Fanta, which has 44 grams of sugar. So if you're like many people that I know and you're always looking, Rich, hand me that can that you have there. You're always looking at the back of the can. What's going on here? All of this, all of that. I don't like that. Well, it's not there on this can of Olipop. You're good to go. Use the code PHLY20 for 20% off their next Olipop order. The discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscription orders. Olipop is sold online, drinkolipop.com, plus Amazon, so you don't have to leave if you don't want. You can get it ordered to you so you can have your Olipop for Thursday, and available in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and Go Puff. We also want to tell you about our other sponsor, our great pregame sponsor, and that is with our great people from Coors Light. We have a lot of people chipping into the show today, and we love it. There are plenty of chances in life to make things better by choosing chill. We weren't choosing chill in the last 2 minutes of that regulation and in overtime until Tyrese Maxey made you choose chill with our great friends from Coors Light. Grab every opportunity to choose chill, then reach for a refreshing Coors Light. Yes. Did you have your Coors Light? Were you chilling when Tyrese Maxey had the basketball, when they were down and you were like, oh, man, season's getting ready to get underway. I can't choose chill talking about the offseason. Or maybe you had to choose chill because you were so irate that you had to choose chill because you didn't want to talk about the offseason and it looked like you were headed that way. Well, when the moment hits you and when the mountain turns blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. You could put your foot up on the table. Coors Light is cold lager, cold filtered, cold packaged for a smoother finish. When you embrace the chill mindset, it's as good a time to choose chill and crack open a cold Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as Colorado Rockies. Make the moment and make the most out of the times you choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I see a lot of Knicks fans in the chat saying,
Are they talking smack?
Well, they said the Sixers got lucky. You know what? It's funny.
You can't do that.
After game 2, I didn't
You can't do
the
that.
same thing.
You can't sit there and say after game 2, if you said, whew, we got lucky.
Yeah.
You didn't do that, Knicks fans.
You got the win.
You can't do that. That's you're not playing fair here. Don't do that.
And that's the beauty of the playoffs. It doesn't matter. As long as you get that W, doesn't really matter, man. We ain't playing for net ratings in the playoffs, man. It's just about just getting that win.
No, sir.
So let's talk about it. Because I think we could spend 20 minutes on this. Joel Embiid.
Have to.
What an up and down, crazy game. He was getting destroyed on Twitter for a lot of the game. And I think you and I, as we were watching it, were saying like, no, I think he's playing better than, I don't know, then he's getting killed. Then, towards the end of the game, he started turning the ball over to an insane degree.
Yeah. He finished the game with 9 turnovers. 9. They had 17 as a team. He had 9.
He got fatigued at the end of the game. So the one thing I will say, right, and this was clear starting in the first quarter, the Knicks were doubling him every single time, which I think is a bad strategy.
You said it in the game, bad strategy by Thibodeau. Let him play them straight up.
Well, especially when Robinson is in there, because Joel cannot push off that damn knee, man. He can't. You said it in the watch along as well, where 2 months ago, he's not only is he blocking Jalen Brunson on the pick and roll when Brunson is sneaking those by him, but he's going by Robinson. He just can't do it now. So he doesn't have the strength advantage against Robinson to the degree that he has other players. So he's settling for hook shots. What did he shoot? 0 for 3 on those tonight?
Yeah, 0 for 3.
That's
and
the one
the
shot
last one was the best one, and Batum had that offensive rebound, didn't go.
Great move, just missed it.
Yeah.
And and that's the one shot that Joel is just not that good at, the hook shot. I think that's a hard shot too. If he's going to be great at ball handling and free throw line jumpers and threes and dunks and all that stuff, it's okay. You could be bad at something. It's unfortunate now, though, because the hook shot would come in handy with him as athletically limited as he is. Because
I wonder if they work on that, though, on the day off at least, if they don't practice. But while he gets his rest, maybe they work on it a little bit. You see him all the time working on it pregame. When he's out there for his run there, he does normally have some of those turnaround jump hooks.
So Joel finishes the game with 10 points 10 assists and 9 turnovers. I thought his passing on the positive end was better than 10 assists because he was getting doubled and creating wide open 3-pointers for his teammates. And they shot like absolute crap to start the game. Like they're doubling, and as Kyle said it on the last podcast, they're doubling one pass off Tyrese Maxey. Nobody does that. Like nobody is sending help one pass away to Tyrese Maxey. So Joel is just throwing him the ball. Maxey makes a couple threes that way. They get other ones where, he drives it, swing. They get a corner 3. They missed a ton of them. Like Oubre, Batum, Lowry just could not make a 3 in the first half. I think also in the third quarter, you called it right away. They throw the ball to Joel at the free throw line, and they get their best offense of the game where they start running pick and roll with Maxey, but they also just like throw it to Joel at the free throw line, screening off the ball. And he was diming some guys up, man. He hits Maxey on a nice backdoor cut. Hits Maxey for a 3. Hit Kelly Oubre on a backdoor cut. So I thought his passing was better. And I also think that's part of the reason he was not scoring a ton of points, because he was like, I'll let the doubles come to me, and I'm just going to be a passer. I'm going to be a smarter player. Now, you might argue you want to see him score more points, make more shots, but I also think he's very physically limited at this time. So that is playing into it. That said, in the fourth quarter and the second half especially, he gets fatigued and he starts throwing the ball all over the place, right? And what you cannot have are those pick sixes. Like, how many buckets in the fourth quarter, Devon? I think the Knicks probably got about 6 or 8 points just off of Joel Embiid turnovers and like easy baskets in a game where the Sixers they have to work hard for every one of their buckets, right? And I think those are kind of killers. I think he was fatigued. I think the defense was great. So it was a very much an all over the place Joel Embiid game. Didn't shoot it well at all. Made the 1-3, made the nice N1 in overtime. But it was all over the place. But you know what? I'm going to give him credit. Like, I think he was plus 14. Single game plus minus can always be a little bit wonky. This is my long-winded way, and Brandon Downer saying it in the chat. It's my long-winded way of saying I think he was plus 14 for a reason. I think he brought it on the defensive end. You saw Brunson get by him a couple times, and I'm just like, he's trying. He just doesn't have the lift in that damn knee, right? Like those are chase down blocks in March. But he gutted it out, and he made some of the biggest plays down the stretch, and I think that is very commendable considering all the shit that guy is playing through right now.
Yeah, weird triple-double for Joel Embiid. I mean, he had a triple-double. He almost had a quadruple-double because of the 9 turnovers. But for him to get to the points, 16 boards, how did he even find 16 boards in those legs? He played 47 minutes tonight. 47. Played the second half in a way that we didn't think was going to happen, and specifically playing that final 12 of the fourth and then all 5 of the overtime. Wasn't sure Nurse was going to go that way, but he did it. He got through it. And as he did that, he made his coach look right by calling that and doing that. And then Rich brings up the point of after the play is made, he dives on the floor for that loose ball.
Awesome play.
Knowing,
So
and
proud
then
of him,
didn't
man. That's a great
hesitate
play.
and called that timeout. The adjustment that he made when Brunson got the layup on him in overtime, a three-pointer, and then drove right by him for a layup, Embiid just didn't have it. As we said, 2 months ago, he's sending that to the seats. Or Jalen is not picking the basketball up. He's probing the baseline to go to the other side to keep the offense going. That's what he's doing. But Jalen had the right idea to attack him and try to score on him because of the lift that he does not have. But he sucked it up for that overtime and got those 2 big possessions there. Now, on the turnovers, with the fatigue, a few of those passes were really good. The one, he couldn't bullet pass it. He couldn't throw it 50 miles per hour when you have Tobias Harris and then Kelly Oubre in the same vicinity right next to each other. You can't do that. That's number one.
But on that one, at least that was a dead ball turnover, right?
Yes.
The live ball, you can't have the live ball where you wait for the double team and then throw a lollipop
like
across
the one
court.
that he had when he was fatigued, didn't give the ball up right away.
Those are the ones
could have
you
hit the
can't
one
have.
closest to him, wanted to make a different play, and then he settled for trying to throw it across the floor. And it wasn't even across the floor.
No,
One, I think it got tipped a little bit, which allowed for it to be the breakaway pick 6 for Anunoby, as you talked about. Those cannot happen. The ones where he's trying to dribble again and Mitchell Robinson is doing a good job of tipping it away because he doesn't have the lift and he has other guys coming towards him. Those things he has to clean up there in this game 6 when they come back. So a real lopsided game for him. But they don't win it without him on the floor. And that's why he played 47. That's why he played in the fourth quarter. As I look at it quickly here, in the second half, fourth quarter, he played 10:48. And then he played all 5 of the overtime session there for Nick Nurse. So, 5 seconds because he came off the floor for the final 5 seconds when Kyle Lowry came into the game when the game was pretty much in hand. So, I don't know how he did it. We've always talked about him not coming up big in big moments. This was a big moment that could have gone the other way where we're talking about it a little bit differently. The stats are what the stats are. We watch what we watch. But in the end, he redeemed himself for all the bad things that he did, for those solid plays that he made, the 1 block shot, the 2 rebounds, and that 1 assist that he made. Plus, he got to the free throw line and made 2 free throws. He missed 1, but he got to the free throw line and made 2. So good on him.
That was off the offensive board, too, when Oubre, he makes a good setup pass. I think you said that Hart blocked that one, but he puts Oubre in a great spot. Doesn't happen. Gets the board and then gets fouled. It was this dumb challenge by Tibbs. That was a pretty clear foul. And he scores. So, look, is he perfect? No. But frankly, this idea that, Jimmy Butler always plays perfect playoff games. It's no, man, sometimes he shoots like shit and he guts it out in the final minutes, right? And look, Embiid passed it poorly. He shot it poorly. But if you're owning the glass, protecting the rim, all of that good stuff, and come out with a win at the end of the game, that's what I want. I want to see Joel Embiid win games ugly in the playoffs. So ultimately I come away from this game understanding that the passing and the turnovers, it cannot be so high risk, high reward. The good moments were awesome. I thought he threw some great passes, but you also can't fade to that degree where it's that detrimental. And you're giving a team that can't freaking score on you easy buckets on the other end. But I want to give him credit for fighting through, right? And fighting through. And we, this has been mentioned in the chat a lot, migraines, Bell's palsy, his knee feels like every time he jumps, you could see a couple of those times where he had to do a second jump where he could test one shot and the second one. He's coming up lame, right? He's got to walk that thing off. That doesn't feel good. I'm really impressed with him competing that hard, right? How many bad breaks have gone his way? So
many. You mentioned that during the game. So many things, bad breaks go his way. And we've laid out some of the injuries because of the bad luck that he has. Oftentimes, this one went his way. This one to at least extend the season and give him another opportunity to once again add to this story potentially should they force a game 7. So he needed to do some things, and he did.
I just think for all those reasons, I'm going to focus on the positives
And
for him.
And he understood, since he didn't have it, the passing was necessary.
Totally.
As bad as they were at points, the passing was necessary. And who did he go to oftentimes? He went to Tyrese Maxey. He went to him over and over and over and over again. He calls them the franchise for a reason, and he leaned on them to be the franchise tonight. One more, we talked about Batum briefly, but that play that Nick Nurse designed for the out-of-bounds sideline, that ATO was fantastic, where it looked like it was a double screen right there, right beneath the three-point line, and Oubre curled around. Great pass from Batum. Again, lobbed it over the top. It was so good. He was so wide open. He thought someone was close to him. Oubre caught it and felt like he wanted to jump from right there and finish, but he kind of bobbled it and still was able to finish over 2 Knick defenders, including Mitchell Robinson. But great play design. Not a great finish, but he got it to go because it should have been a little bit easier. But so many people had their hands in this one. And so really, really good job by them. We'll talk about Joel Embiid a little bit here. More, we'll get to the guys from New York when we can. Got to tell you, though, about our good friends. This is the last day in April. It's the 30th. And with it, we talk so much this month about National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. And our friends at Manscaped have partnered with Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. This episode here that we have with you is brought to you by our good friends from Manscaped. And did you know 1 man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst men aged 15 to 35. So visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use promo code PHLY for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Tell you all the time, many people have dealt with cancer in their lives. Maybe not with testicular cancer, but cancer doesn't matter what form it is. It all sucks. And because of that, it stinks. We want to make sure that everybody is good. And if you get some early detection, maybe your physician can attack it earlier. And with it, Manscaped is trying to make sure everybody goes out there, has the awareness. And with this in mind, you can perform simple, routine self-checks at home while enjoying Manscaped's products you use every day, like the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. I have it. Kyle, Derek, they have it as well. It makes sense, right? We use the products daily to trim and maintain our boys down there. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra features 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little bit off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth and sleek. Whatever is your choice, whatever works for you. The LED spotlights are very good for visibility to make sure there's no mistakes, no cuts, no nicks, no nothing. Got you all covered. Don't like making a mess, understandably so. This thing is waterproof. You can shave in the shower, in the bath, or if you want to get adventurous, take it out in the ocean. You have at it. You'll be safe, though. You might get looked at a little funny, but you have it out there for you. And you can bring this trimmer wherever you go to, thanks to its wireless charging capabilities and travel lock feature. In addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfortable and easy grooming, Manscaped is committed to raising awareness and giving support to fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. That is why they'll be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls by going over to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny educational check yourself video. And while you're at it, grab 20% off plus free shipping by using code PHLY, because, like a famous American philosopher once said, take care of your mentals, your balls, and your chickens. Joel, take care of the basketball, man.
They got to take care of it. That was bad. And if they would have lost, Devon, I still would be praising his effort and gutting it out, but I would have said, man, the turnovers were just killer down the stretch. And look, they can get good shots out of it. I do want to acknowledge
real fast. Let me get one more in,
yeah,
and then you acknowledge a chat or the super chat that we're going to get to. Game time. We got to tell you, hey, you got a game 6, man. Rich, got a game 6.
I'm excited, Devon.
Dawn Staley said Sixer season ticket holders or Sixer fans in general, do not let New York fans come in and take over the building. Show Joel Embiid your support by going to the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. That doesn't mean, New York fans, that you can jump in there and get any. Get out of here. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. You got a Game 6. Depending on how the Milwaukee-Indiana game goes tonight, I don't know what the score is. Maybe Rich does. But depending on that, there are 2 game times. Indiana was leading Milwaukee when I last checked. If Indiana wins, series over, you get a 7:30 start time on Thursday. Milwaukee wins, you get a 9:30 start time.
Are you kidding me?
On Thursday. Wasn't that right, Bree? Wasn't that? I think that was what we said. Either way, you can get your tickets at Game Time.
Let's go Pacers.
Last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy, even MLB tickets, and for every kind of event in your area. Views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. Last minute deals, save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Flash deals, save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. And toggling feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. When I did this for my girls, I told you, they were going to the Drake concert at Penn State, looking at the view, and you move your phone, you go like this, the panoramic, it goes wherever you go to show the view to what you're looking for. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off to get your Philadelphia tickets for Thursday night at home. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, Rich, what did you have on that one comment that you wanted to get into?
I think it was Fly Parks who said, let's be real, is Joel going to be able to play the next series if we make it through? We'll
worry about that when we get there.
Let's worry about it when we get there.
Look, I've had the same thought. Can he even, especially playing against Indiana, where Miles Turner's just going to pull him away from the basket now and maybe run right by him, trying to finish at the rim. What do they do defensively? I don't know. Maybe they go a lot of zone. Who knows? But he can't run up and down the floor. We'll worry about that when they get there. We will. We will, because number one, if they come back from this one, we're like, yo, how did they do that? If they come back, it's going to be a Game 7. So if they come back from this one, this is going to be one of those legendary comebacks. Don't know what's going to happen in the second round against Indiana or Milwaukee, but it's going to be one of those all-time comebacks should they finish this off. One game at a time. We'll worry about that when we get there, if we get there. We got a lot of super chats. Let's get in there on the super chats. Tobias Harris is checking in. We haven't heard from Tobias Harris in the chat. He's been very quiet.
Unbelievable.
He's been very quiet on the super chats. Tobias Harris has. No, Rich, it's Tobias Harris on the super chat. He contributes to the show.
He's got a little more than $2, man.
Can we read that?
That's
like
a little
that,
light, Tobias.
Can we say that? I'm back, bitches. Give me another max. Tobias, you were fantastic tonight with this game. He started off really well. In the first quarter alone, he finished with 7 points. He played 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Normally, he plays about 7 to 6 minutes because Nick Nurse takes him out at that normal substitution spot. But he was perfect from the floor. He finished with 7 points. He made his only 3. He had a rebound. He had a block shot. He played really well, and he was a +5 as the Sixers won that frame by 9 points. Tobias Harris finished the game with 19, 8 boards, a block shot, 1 assist, 2 offensive rebounds, 6 defensive boards, which is important because, of course, you limit the Knicks' offensive rebounds, and he was 3 for 6 from beyond the three-point line, which you like to see from him simply because if he makes a couple, he's not hesitant to take the next one. Tobias Harris, we have ragged on him so much from what he has not done for this basketball team. Single digits in a lot of these games, Tobias Harris was tremendous tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. Got to give him credit. He hit a big three-pointer in the corner in the fourth quarter. A big three-pointer in the quarter Tobias Harris did. So for me, he had a pull-up. This was, first of all, he made the free throws.
He was the only one who made the free throws down the stretch.
He was the only one to make his 2 free throws. And I'm like, look, Tobias Harris is great for splitting free throws. He's only making 1. He stepped up there and lined them up and knocked down 2. This was after us critiquing his alligator arm that we called it at the moment, where he short-armed that, like 17? It wasn't even a 17-footer. It was like a 13-footer.
Yeah, it's a
and
weird shot.
He missed it. It was a really good look. He just short-armed it. But he came back. He knocked down that three-pointer. Rich, we were like, great pass, great shot, good look, and he nailed it. Nailed it from the corner. We got to give him his props, man. He was really good tonight from start to finish, Tobias Harris.
Look, and he comes in, and I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, man, this is the last game of Tobias Harris's reign of terror. You know, I saw some tweets today that a legacy game was incoming with 13 points and 4 rebounds. So, look, he was getting a lot of crap. I think a lot of it is deserved. He has not played well in the series. Certainly, we can talk about his contract as a team-building roadblock. Look, he was great tonight, man. He was great. He was the only guy making shots in the first quarter. I thought his defense on Brunson was good, right? It was,
he has some good defensive possessions there.
Brunson, I think, is very comfortable working against him in the mid-range. And it's not really even Tobias's fault. Like, it's
Jalen Brunson.
He's just very crafty and very good. Look, that was a great Tobias game. It was, you need him to be the third reliable scorer. And for 4 games this series, he was not that guy. And I just think, like, the way he started the game when nobody else was making those threes that Joel was passing, Tobias did make them. He made, I forget when it came exactly in the game. Remember they had a terrible possession, and he dribbles in
the
from
bailout shot?
He dribbles in from the right wing and makes an incredibly difficult shot that, frankly, like, wasn't his fault. Like, Devon, he shoots,
I want to say it was,
he shoots 7 of 11. He had 2 absolute, like, throw the ball to him with 3 seconds left on the clock. Not his fault.
And the one you said that from Maxey where he set him up for that one.
Yeah.
I think the Tobias shot you're talking about was at 5:19 when the Knicks were up 82-87 and they were already on that roll, and he hit that shot from about 16 feet, more on the wing, but it was 16 feet over 2 defenders to make it 82-79. Great shot over those defenders. OG Anunoby being one of them.
Yeah, and he chips in with 8 rebounds as well, which that helps you win.
6 on the defensive glass.
Guys, I cannot mention this enough. They won the rebounding battle. They out-toughed the Knicks tonight. Like, the team that is more athletic than them, more physically tough, has the better rebounders. They focused on it, and they got it done tonight. So, and I think Tobias Harris was a huge part of it. Just a crazy game, man. Just crazy.
Very crazy. Very crazy.
Devon, did you see this too? Apparently, Nick Nurse, he hurt his finger.
Nurse did?
Yeah. My old friend Ian Begley, who works for SNY now in New York, good guy.
Yep, does a great job.
Worked for ESPN for a long time. His tweet, SNY sources, Sixers coach Nick Nurse injured his finger when he slammed his hand in frustration on a call during the Sixers Game 5 win at MSG. Unclear if it is a break or sprain. Nurse couldn't draw plays up in the second half.
Who did
because he couldn't grip the marker.
Who's his
He can't draw plays up with his left hand?
Come on, man. Come on. You're not going to let Chris Finch show you up there, are you, Nick Nurse?
Yeah.
That was bad, wasn't it? That's a shame.
That was a shame.
And the report was he was having surgery today or tomorrow or something like that.
A hurt finger is not as bad as what happened to Chris Finch.
Or whatever it was.
By the way, did you see too? Like Chris Finch, like, they did act like he.
With the towel. We talked about it yesterday.
You guys did talk about it? I'm like, guys, like, he's going to be all right. Like, they don't, it's better him hurting his leg than his players, right? Yeah. Like, he'll be like, I'll hurt my leg a million times before we put a scratch on Ant-Man, right?
So, the weird part is if Can he coach on the sideline?
No, I don't know.
I don't
maybe,
think
maybe
so.
they move him further
behind
back.
the bench,
yeah,
something like that.
So yeah, I guess that's up. Anyway, Nick Nurse though, just freaking out about a call, just not not happy about that.
Busted up his finger. Nick Nurse with the messed up finger.
Sean Comp, I'm just reading the tweet. I don't know if he can grip the marker without his pinky. I don't know.
Hey man, Sean, Eastern Conference Finals. We get the pinky rings, man. We get the pinky rings. That's what we're doing. No doubt. No doubt. Man, that was a really good win by this basketball team. A lot of good chats coming in here. Super chats, let's keep them going. We'll get to the guys again. Imagine they're late for, hey, we understand. We're not even complaining. Maxey is special, but I think Embiid's knee is done.
Look, I get it. He's really gotten through it. And I think, like, his offense was bad tonight overall because of the bad shooting and all the turnovers. But I do think a lot of that is just that he's just really banged up, and he's got to figure out ways to get around it. Like you said it, when he gets the ball on the two-man game with Maxey, he's not really even looking to score. He's like, Tyrese runs a pick and roll and throws behind the back to him at the three-point line. Joel is looking at him. Come on back. I'm going to set you another screen, set you another dribble handoff. He had a good stretch in the third quarter, but I agree. And look, he's a warrior. He's got to keep trying to play through it, but I understand the sentiment that it's not looking great.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Cannoli, real fast here. Any chance we see Melton in the next game?
Well, he was glued to the bench tonight.
He was. I think right now the man with the minutes, Campaign boy. Campaign knocked down some shots, Rich.
He does every game.
Every game he hits a shot, and the one that he missed still looked good, didn't it? He had 6 points off the bench. He was 2 for 5, all threes attempted. He had 1 assist. He had 2 rebounds. He played 13 minutes and 13 seconds. He gave him good minutes. He was a -5, but he's out there for offense and running the offense. He was good in his 13 minutes, I thought, out there, and he hit some big shots.
And I think he's -5 because he's on the floor.
Paul Reed some, and
again, just a disaster. Again, yeah. I mean, Paul Reed. Like
Remo K, I'm with you today. I'm with you today. Not great. Not great.
And look, he did not play well. They just can't figure out those freaking minutes. And
what do you do now?
I don't know if you go back to Reed in
Do you go to Bamba or do you go small? Because
Bamba is a terrible option too. So
I'm just asking.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. No, I'm not yelling at you.
I know you're not yelling. I'm just saying. I'm just asking. What do you
go
do?
to Bamba? Do you go to Batum as small ball? This Paul Reed stuff is not working right now, and I almost think
you might
they
have
need
to dust off Mo Bamba for a couple of minutes just to
for the sake of change. For the sake
of change and the sake of rebounds.
Can't go worse.
And stressing in his face, break another finger, Nick Nurse. Poke in his eye, like, you better rebound the basketball every time it comes near you. 2 hands, too. Don't be weak with the basketball. You might have to go that direction. Now, you don't want to lose confidence in Paul Reed in case you have to go back to him. However, it did not work out tonight. He only played 3 minutes and 57 seconds because it wasn't good.
And they didn't play him in the second half, and that I don't think that was a mistake. And again, Joel basically does not sit at all in the fourth quarter, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's hard. You could play all wings, but I think Jalen Brunson is gonna work his way to the basket. I think Bamba is. I understand it because if they play Mitchell Robinson in those minutes, you tell him just stand by the basket. He's not going to stretch you out.
Yeah.
Battle, and Bamba's a bad rebounder, by the way.
He's a bad rebounder.
For a guy his size, he's a bad rebounder, but I don't know, and I don't think it's all Paul Reed's fault, but it's just, it's rough, man, and I think they do need to change something else. I mean, do you just throw Rick in there and just tell him to?
We keep asking for Ricky, and he's not going to. Maybe we just need to be quiet. Yeah. Maybe we just need to stop talking about it, and maybe Nurse will go to it. KJ Martin, he is a tough rebounder as well. He's just 6'4", so it's tough. It's difficult. But, it's crazy. The Coach Lowell Records on the Super Chat. Maxey changes Embiid's narrative to gutsy performance. 19, 16, and 10 triple-double with 5 blocks. I didn't even realize he had 5 blocks. I didn't even look at that. It says 4 in the game book here in the final box score, but 4 or 5, whatever it is, it's amazing. He also says
that hurts
great
to make
rim
him
protection defense. And don't sell Game 6 tickets. Hashtag don't sell Game 6 tickets.
I think there's going to be some Knicks fans in the crowd.
The thing is with the Knicks fans, they're trying to get them right now. Sixers fans had to jump on them immediately to keep them out the building.
I just don't, and the game time has kind of given me a little more knowledge on it. I'm just so far behind on the secondary ticket market, you know? Yeah.
Got to get your game time at. You get $20 off first purchase, so make sure you get them and not the Knicks fans.
Yeah. That's just a great win, man. This is a crazy series, and it does go to show.
Is this the best series?
Yeah, but
Dallas LA is good, but I think the Knicks Sixers is better because, as you pointed out before we got the game started, the Sixers are down 3-1, but they only trail by 4 points in the series.
They're up,
to trail 3-1.
They're up 2 now.
And now they're up by 2. Right.
They don't get the extra game for that though. Unfortunately, the rules are there. They got to win the last 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been, and like, look, it's ugly at times, but that's like 90s East Coast basketball, right? That's playoff intensity, right? That's 2 super physical teams going up against each other. I think Lakers Nuggets was an amazing 5-game series as well. I mean, it ends on the Jamal Murray shot last night. By the way,
he's been
must be nice to root
playoff
for
Murray.
Must be nice to root for the Nuggets because like they get what Tyrese Maxey did from either Murray or Jokic or somebody every night. That team, I've never seen a team that is better in the clutch running crunch time offense. It would be nice if the Sixers ever got there.
Well, but maybe you have your guy now.
Well, look,
maybe.
I think if you get Joel healthy and you can actually run 2-man game, I think that's kind of what the Nuggets are doing. So
what if he turned himself into Jokic in playoff season? What if he did that?
Look, Jokic in the regular season does throw a lot of turnovers too, for as good of a player as he is.
Because he's so good, he can take some chances.
He throws very chances. But the other thing too is the bad passes he throws. He's smart. If they're bad, they go out of bounds.
Yeah,
and get back on defense.
Embiid's live ball, baby. Go the other way.
You gotta avoid the live ball turnovers.
Live ball, baby. Kelly Oubre, you want to hear a quote from him since he played through his sickness and still gave you 14 points on 6 for 13 shooting? I feel like dog water right now. But even dogs drink it. I'd imagine no practice tomorrow after an overtime game, an illness, and busted up knee for Joel Embiid. Yeah, I'd imagine that they have the day off.
I love Kelly Oubre. Flawed player. Love that guy. Just
bring him back next season?
Yeah.
Figure something out, right? Figure a contract out.
At a certain number,
fair for each side. Bring him back.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Maybe he's found a home.
You know, not $15 million, but somewhere in between that and the $2 million.
And ideally, he's coming off the bench.
Totally,
you'll have
other players next year.
Yeah, coming off the bench, giving you 15 off the bench. That would be really good.
Well, and next year too, you don't have to play him
39
minutes
in a Game 5 elimination game
in which he feels like dog water.
Like dog water. Bill, super chat. Apparently, Nick Nurse. Broken/sprained finger in the first half, so he couldn't draw plays in the second. So who was drawing the plays?
That was a great ATO, the one to...
Yes. So was he saying it?
And was he just like, you go here, you go here?
or you know how you do the football in the dirt? You don't need each finger. You just go here. You go here. You go here. Or maybe, of course, when we play, right? You also have the clipboard with the magnets.
The magnets, yeah.
Use the magnets.
Get the magnets. This is an NBA franchise.
Come on.
Josh Harris, spring for some magnets.
He was sitting right there. Get him some magnets. Miracle for Molly. This is my buddy Greg. I saw people coming at him a little bit, and Molly has she's special needs. So he has a great website to contribute to Molly. He's a Villanova grad, so he loves his Villanova players. Sure. He's from the North Jersey area, so he's a big Knicks guy. And he says, I talked to the Nova guys, and all agreed Knicks in 6. So everybody take it easy on the Molly part. I saw him getting into it with, I think it was Rick Morris. Rick, you know I love you. But yes, Molly, his daughter, as much fun as it is to go back and forth with the banter of the Knicks Sixers series here. Yes, the Molly part of it is for a good reason in his handle here on the show. So, you know, good fun here. Good fun. And Greg, we appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Might have to go 7 games.
Might have 7 games.
Might have 7 games,
We'll
though,
see.
Greg. All right, let's go to the arena right now, or wherever they are. I don't know where they are. Joining us live right now, we got Derek back in some place in New York.
Looking like a swanky hotel room or something.
Swanky
What is
hotel
that?
room. Hey, Derek, man, how about that? I can imagine that if we were getting you on with a different result, the smile wouldn't be on your face right now. And even your sickness might be a little bit better based on how that game went with a
if there's one thing worse than being sick, it's having lost and writing an obituary and being sick. Which I feel like I've probably done a couple times before. But no, I'm back at the arena. I'm back at the hotel room. They do not necessarily make it easy to do these post-game hits at MSG. So I am here. Kyle is about to get back on the train, so you're stuck with me once again here tonight.
No worries. No worries, man. Well, listen, can you talk about the range of emotions of everything? Tyrese Maxey at one point with 29 points, but with the turnovers and some of the missed opportunities there down the stretch. And then that 7 seconds and 7 points in 17 seconds there, and capping it off with the 34-footer from still logo because of how they have it on their Madison Square Garden floor, for him to unfurl an all-time classic here in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, Kyle and I were not even really joking. We were honestly wondering whether or not we should try to start going down to the press area, because we were up on the top floor, on the 3rd floor. And the last time we had a post game, we weren't able to get down to Nick Nurse's press conference in time because we got caught in a stairwell with a bunch of Knicks fans. Well, it actually ended up turning out I didn't get down for Nick Nurse's press conference in time because a fight broke out in the stairwell as I was trying to get down. But we ended up not going with 30 seconds left in regulation. It turned out being a great thing because we would have missed one of the all-time classic moments. And boy, talk about a place where you cannot hold a 6-point lead with 30 seconds to go. Madison Square Garden, there is something absolutely wild in that building. But that was, I mean, it was one of those, if you were a Sixers fan, you would have nightmares, or if that happened to the Sixers, you would have nightmares about, because it's one of the most inexplicable endings that you will see. And I understand that we just said that 3 games ago, but that was to have that 4-point play and then that logo 3 to erase that deficit was just wild. And it really is an absurd skill level that Tyrese has developed. He did make a couple of really key mistakes down the stretch, from the missed 3 throws to the really bad turnover. And he made up for that in the best way possible. Him developing into a person that you can rely on to run offense through, to get you those last second desperation shots and have a good look at it. I mean, when he pulled up from the logo with 6 seconds left, it was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God, incredible shot. And he did leave a little too much time on the clock. I thought he maybe could have gotten 1 or 2 more dribbles, but he was open there. He took it and he made it. It was an all, if, and that's a big if, because there's a lot of series left. Odds are still stacked against them. If they do find a way to come back, that will be one of the greatest playoff moments in decades for this franchise.
Crazy. Derek, I'm not going to ask you a very good question here, but it's all I got. Joel Embiid, discuss.
So I thought in the first half, I thought he clearly didn't have it right from the jump. Energy-wise, movement-wise, I'm not sure if the knee wasn't feeling well or if it's some migraines. He talked about the migraines a little bit after the game, but he didn't have it. And I thought he made a concerted effort to try to be a facilitator. He talked after the game about being a decoy. I thought he made some pretty good passes in the first half. I thought the Sixers shooting was atrocious. He probably had, 5 assists in the first half? I think he probably could have had 7 or 8. I thought he had a pretty good control of the game in the first half with absolutely no energy, no lift, no movement for whatever reason. The fourth quarter turnovers were a disaster. They were an absolute unmitigated disaster. And a lot of turnovers, I know he probably had 4 or 5 turnovers in the first half. I feel like a lot of them were miscommunications, or even times where Tobias I thought had a clear rolling opportunity and he just didn't commit to it. And I think Joe thought he was going to commit to it, and that was a turnover. Like, there were a couple like that. But in the fourth quarter, a lot of them were Joe just making sloppy, lazy passes or decisions. And that was really frustrating. But he did then turn it around defensively in overtime. I thought he was pretty good on the glass for most of the game. There were a couple of possessions certainly where he was beat, but for the most part, I think he helped close off the offensive rebounding battle. It was a real up and down game, but it is one game where I do give him some credit for finding a way to contribute down the stretch, especially in overtime, and impact the game, even though he had absolutely nothing. And he was talking after the game about how he was bad offensively and how the turnovers were bad. He was pretty open about that, even joking after the interview was over about that. But I thought he found a way to impact the game. And this was one of the games where that wouldn't, if Tyrese Maxey didn't go on an all-time heater, that wouldn't have mattered. We wouldn't be having this discussion about how Joel had a chance to impact the game down the stretch. The conversation would be pretty harsh on Joel, and considering the fourth quarter, I think deservedly so. But I do give him some credit for after Tyrese Maxey saved the season, he came back and gave good effort in overtime, and I thought really did lift them defensively and carry them down the stretch on that end of the court.
The one guy we've been hard on for quite a bit. He started the game off, and as you said, that back cut where there was the miscommunication between he and Joel Embiid on that play. But overall on the night, man, Tobias Harris really stepped up in the moment. As much crap as we have given him, he had 19 and 8, 6 defensive rebounds, played 49 minutes of the game, and they don't win this game also without him. Big shots from him, the corner three, the fadeaway that he had about 16 feet away against the shot clock over 2 defenders. He played and bounced back in a big-time way here.
Yeah, and big free throws down the stretch as well, which, as we saw with Tyrese, you can't always take for granted. No, he was big, and in the first half, like, he was the only one that I was confident was going to step into those open corner threes and have a chance of making them. And I feel like for most of Tobias' career, we've been going, why the hell aren't you stepping into those corner threes and taking them? And at least tonight, in the first half, he was the one I had confidence in. I hate to say this, but does that mean anything going to the next game? No, I don't think any of us necessarily buy that. But he's been pretty good defensively throughout. He's certainly a contributor here tonight offensively. And like I said, really the only person in the first half I really had confidence was going to step in and make an open corner three. And for that, I give him credit.
So you didn't get down to Nick Nurse's post-game interview?
I did not. I got cut off in the hallway.
It's a mess.
MSG is a mess in that regard. And like I said, there was a legitimate fight, and that got me caught up.
Was it entertaining?
I didn't even get a chance to see the end of it. I ended up detouring and trying to find a way down.
I got you.
Were these Knicks fans against Knicks fans, or was it Sixers fans in there?
Wasn't close enough to the action to see. All I know is we were backed up for 200 people. It was a mess.
Derek, since we got the report that Nick Nurse hurt his finger by pounding on whatever and couldn't draw up plays, how did he draw up the plays? Because he came up with a hell of a play there late. Nick Nurse lobbing it over. Nick Batum lobbing it over the top again from the sideline to Kelly Oubre. Got lucky because it looked like a wide open finish if he didn't bobble it and all of that. But how did he call plays? Was it his assistants?
I guess
did they draw it up? Did they go back to magnets?
Coach drawing. I don't know. It wasn't in the press conference, like I said. Kyle and I ended up splitting up. I got Joel in the locker room. Kyle got Nick and Tyrese at the podium, in part because, like I said, I got caught up in a brouhaha. I would guess he related to a coach, and the assistant coach wrote it down, but that's a fair question for sure.
We were wondering, man. So what does this do for Game 6? Of course, the range of emotion. How close this series has been. When we were doing our pregame, Rich talked about how the Sixers down 3-1 only trailed by 4 points to start before Game 5. They are now up in the series, but are still trailing 3-2. What does this do for you as being around the team all season long? These players, let's minus the Embiid part because you're going to get what you can get because of the injury. But what do you think this does for their confidence after coming back from such an emotional win in this one to keep their season alive?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Game 6 is going to be a close game because every game has been a close game that came down to the wire. You've got in this series, you've got one game that Joel Embiid won, one game that Tyrese Maxey won, one game that Jalen Brunson won, one that the role players won, and then one that the refs won. So you've got 5 different ways that each game was won. And I think it's going to come down to the wire here in Game 6. So I think having the confidence that you have won one of these games, that you pulled out one of these miraculous comebacks, that you fought them physically inside and competed and were able to win that way in a game that it felt like, this is the kind of game that it feels like the Knicks win. And when they win, it's because they're able to grind out a win like this. I think it just gives them confidence. And if the shooting isn't atrocious, this is one thing that Joel spoke about a little bit after the game. They've never really had everyone going at the same time. And for the most part of the series, there's only been 2 players on the Sixers that have gotten into any kind of a rhythm, Joel and Tyrese. They did have a little bit there. It felt like in that Game 3 win where they had both of them going. For the most part, it's been one person that has been on a roll while everyone else tries to follow along. it just gives them confidence, like I said, that they can pull out a close win against this team, that they can compete on the glass at times and pull out a win. I think this was a pretty gutsy win in a game where your best player didn't have it going offensively. So I do think that has to give them confidence, but they also need to get a better version of Joel. And only on one day rest, how much is he going to have left in that knee? Are the migraines going to get any better coming into it? Who knows? But I think as a team, it has to give them a little bit of confidence for sure.
Last one for me. This is small, but you pulling B-ball for Game 6?
So I still don't think that Joel can play a full half. I think that was another miscalculation, and that's why 6 minutes into the fourth quarter, I think Nick had to try to get him a little bit of a blow. I'll flip the question back at you. Who do you have confidence in manning that spot?
Nobody.
Like, do you go small?
Nobody, but I really don't have confidence in him. He's not playing well over the past few games, and I don't have confidence in Bamba. I think going small is honestly what I would do. Like, play Ricky, play Batum, Harris, Oubre, Maxey. That's your 5, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I truthfully don't know, because with the team that has so much trouble defending the rim and rebounding, I'm not sure that, like, Paul hasn't done a good job defending the rim, but I'm not sure. And it's not like even the small ball lineup's that great at denying dribble penetration, so I'm not even really sure you can switch everything. I still think part of it is maybe try to get Lowry on those minutes without Embiid on the floor, so at least you can run some confident offense, maybe get some better looks on it. I'm surprised it hasn't happened at all here really in this series. I'm not sure I have a good solution, though. I'm not sure there's a really clean. Sure, I'm open for trying some small ball, but I think you need to run better offense in that group too, and they just haven't been able to do it at all at any point in this series. You really thought here, because Embiid went out with about a minute and a half left in that first quarter. It looked like they got some decent looks there to end that first quarter. You thought, maybe tonight will be different. And then New York went on an 11-2 run right after that to start the second. I'm generally open for small ball lineups. I do think against this Knicks squad, it can be a little tough to do that. But really, I'd love to see some better offense run as well, and they just haven't been close.
All right,
they've all
Derek,
been bad. They have all been terrible when Joel Embiid has gone on the bench. It's a comedy of errors.
It's been really bad. Would you prefer a 7 o'clock, 7:30 start time, or a 9:30 start time?
Certainly not a 9 o'clock. Oh, that one's going to be tough.
Well, the Bucks are blowing out the Pacers by 17 right now. So if this stands, it is still time in the third quarter. It's
Doc
144
Rivers without
left
his
in the
stars,
third.
man. Fucking wild. Freaking wild.
Remember when we talked about this? Like, all right, scenarios, they can maybe play a 9 o'clock game. 9:30? What? On the East Coast?
Yeah.
But
is that the latest start time at the Wells Fargo Center you can remember? I can't imagine there's ever been one later than that.
We might have gotten an 8:30.
No, we definitely have 8:30 because the Saturday games are 8:30, and even the Christmas Day games are some of the ones that they played when they were here.
9 p.m. Come on,
That's
Doc.
insane. But we'll be here.
Because of Indy and Milwaukee, put that game on NBA TV. Who cares?
Nobody.
Come on.
Except for the Indiana and Milwaukee people.
Unbelievable. You're not going to get ratings for that.
No. Everybody's going to be watching Knicks Sixers.
Everybody on the East Coast wants a 7:30 game. Come on. What do we... Oh, so bad.
So bad. Well, Derek...
It's wild.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking we're going to see you at sometime midnight postgame. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, no shit.
Live from the arena.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Well,
we got a show
doubt.
tomorrow.
No doubt. But just for that game, it will be rather late. Feel better, man. See you tomorrow, 2:30, as we have our PHLY Sixers podcast. Thanks, man. Make sure you go read Derek and Kyle's work for this game.
Make sure you do it.
Great work, of course. Instant classic, allphly.com. You also want to check in with Rich for the newsletter. Man, somebody said in the chat that you're going to need like a bunch of Ollipops to stay up to finish your newsletter.
Yeah. Gonna need them. But we got enough, here, so we're good.
We got enough. So make sure you go read Rich. Of course, sign up for the Die Hard program. We just keep getting the diehards rolling in, man. And it's a good thing to see. So sign up to become a member of the Diehards. You get 20% off. Of course, the merchandise. You get a free T-shirt when you do sign up. Maybe you go and get that Tyrese Maxey. He's on fire.
He's on fire.
That's at all PHLY. That's at PHLYlocker.com. Not all PHL. PHLYlocker.com. Check out, look for the Tyrese Maxey shirt there. He is on fire. And if they can extend this thing, man, I told you what my cousin said when we were talking. And he was saying Maxey has to be better. He's got to step up in the moment. And all he did was then drop like 22 more.
he had some moments in the middle of the game, too, where I thought his defensive decision-making was bad. He was giving up back cuts. He was making some kind of weird double teams that I didn't think he had to do that. And guess what? I don't give a shit.
Nope.
I don't care.
So what does this do? What does this do for him? He struggled in Game 4. Game 3, he was a nice co-star to the 50. Game 4, we were sitting there doing the show from Wicked Wolf. The opportunity presented itself to step up in that moment and do maybe what he did tonight. Maybe not to the extent that you needed it because it was such a close game. You just needed him to have a couple buckets, keep the Knicks on their heels. What do you think this does for him now coming in? Because I was just looking at I think it was Kyle's Twitter account actually, and someone asked Maxey about what was the meaning of this whole thing and what was the feeling for this one, and he just had one word. He said mandatory. It was a great response. Great answer.
I think he's going to have a ton of confidence going into that game, but I wish I would, I think if you're the Sixers, you wish the Knicks would just be shell-shocked, right? That they're not going to punch back. That's not happening. They're going to come to play on Thursday night, and it's not going to be just, all right, we're going to wait for Game 7, and, we'll take our butt kicking down here, and we're going to be ready. We're going to load up for Game 7. No, they're going to, come down here fully expecting a war and trying to win Game 6. But, yeah, I think it gives Tyrese a ton of confidence moving into that game. But I think, in general, just get ready for another war, guys. That's what this series has been. I would not expect a blowout either way. I think it's going to be, like I said in the first quarter tonight, game's going to be in the 90s late. It's going to be a 1 or 2 possession game.
It was an overtime.
And it went to 100 because it was overtime. But it's been just a very stressful, physical, good series, though.
I told you also had a text. It was like, I just can't. How do we continue to do this? Don't know. But in the end, they rewarded you by sticking around and giving you this victory. Mm-hmm. How about that one, man? How about that one?
We're going to be talking about that one for a while.
Yeah, I might even go home and watch the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Just so I can react like you did with the shot, because that was an amazing one. I know you said you wanted to go back and look at it just to look at the shot itself. I looked at it again on the Sixers Twitter account. It was everything that it was in that moment. And a lot of times I don't react that way. Me and you, we do. Sometimes we don't. Sure. All that. Sometimes you just sit there stunned. Even if it's in your favor, where we want to see this continue and keep it going for all of you, for them. And, of course, because we want to keep working and talking about some playoff games, man. We're not used to early exits. We're used to second-round exits, but not first-round exits. And they pushed us to May. We'll have a game on May 2nd. It's going to be fun. And right now it looks like it is going to be the 9:30 game, because Milwaukee is handling their business at home against the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers lead the series 3-1. So they'll at least get a chance to go home and close it out. But it's the early game, 86-67 right now. Chris Middleton has turned back the clock, man. Chris Middleton. He looks like all-star Chris Middleton again. Battling these injuries and all. Giannis, Dame out. He's like, I got it. No worries. Even in the losses, he's been good.
I know. That series is not the same sport as the one the Sixers are playing right now.
This is rugged, grimy.
Very different. It's a little better, too. But I would just say also stylistically, it's crazy. It just does not feel like the same thing.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of people to thank. We ran through all the super chats, right, Bree? All right, we ran through all the super chats. Make sure you go read Rich's newsletter tomorrow. A lot to talk about in there. It's always fantastic. He didn't crumble in this one, so got to give him props. Tobias Harris for that one. Of course, you read the guys' work at allphly.com to see what they had to say in the written form about this game. Tyrese Maxey credited Buddy Hield for settling him down and picking him up during a down moment in the fourth quarter. So good on the veteran who has his minutes taken away from him, but he's still talking and encouraging his teammates to uplift them as best as they can in that moment. So good on Buddy Hield. Maybe he makes a shot in Game 6. I don't know. Maybe that's what the wrinkle, right? You never know how it goes. We have a lot of people to thank. Khalif Khalif is the one that actually said you're going to need a lot of Olipop to write your newsletter
my
tonight.
guy.
So thank you, Leaf. We really appreciate it. Eugene Ross, Rick Morse, Miracle from Molly. Who else do we have in here? We got a lot of people, so let me just go to the whole list because Remo K, Freddie, Ken, Kane, Aaron. What up, Aaron? Brian Knight. Brian said that when Tyrese hit that three-pointer, Tracy Morgan gave him the bird, flipped him the bird.
There's a picture of it online.
Is it? Yeah. I gotta find that one so we can check that out because I need to laugh. Ash Monroe is in here. Joel Embiid plus 18? 14. Plus 14 in the game. The guy's just something else. Winona is here. I saw Sal in there. What up, Sal? We appreciate everybody checking in. Who else did we have in here? We got Boots. Got him, Bree. Bootzilla in there. What up, Jay? Thomas says, go 76ers, front-running fan base. Who else? I saw Money Mar in there. Where? Phi Chi is in there. Where's the boy RJ been? RJ hasn't been in there in a while. We haven't seen RJ. We need RJ to jump back in there. Jay the Jungle, Freddie, Mike, Dave Doer. Who else do we have in here? We got a bunch of people, as you would imagine.
Ton of people.
All the people from the pregame. Everyone from our watch-along. Everyone here with us tonight where our hypothetical man, what up, hypothetical man? Martian Lynch 33, always with some great jokes. Jeff Jones in there. We've had so many people. It has like removed a lot of the chat where I can't go back is so far. I can only go but so far because so many people interacted with us here tonight. Maine, what up, Al? The 2-minute warning. Everybody, thank you so much for kicking it with us tonight from 6:30 until now, 11:38 on this Tuesday night. We couldn't have done it without you. They rewarded us with a fantastic comeback win. They fought. For a while, we were like, they don't even deserve to win this game, but they pulled it out of the hat and they got it done to force a Game 6 on Thursday night. Now we just need them to not let us down and give us a Game 6 where we can talk about a Game 7, and that will be fantastic.
That would be more content for the people.
Yes, it would be. So we'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 for our normal start time on the off day, no game. So we'll be with you from 2:30 until, and then on Thursday, Rich and I will be back for the post game here on Thursday. We got to have our Ollipops with us. For Kyle and Derek, Rich and Brianna, thank you, Bree. I'm Devon. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Make sure you go like and subscribe, and when you do, you'll get that bell icon to alert you.
Hit it.
And you'll know that it's showtime. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.